Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. It is time for a Friday stream. And specifically, a Friday stream on a long weekend, which means that if I'm not personally too tired, then we'll do 2 games tonight. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear. I did just crack open a monster because my hope is to do so. But if my body rejects, then it rejects. So, good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Ellen. So you're still wearing your wedding gown? And I will continue to wear it until our marriage is saved. Oh, Soren. You think he came to see how she's holding up? Maybe he wants some eggs. Soren, my love, you came all the way to the courthouse just to see me? Oh, Soren, I don't know what to say. Blueprints. Huh? The engine blueprints. I can't find them. Do you know where they are? Oh, they're in your room, 3rd shelf from the bottom on the right-hand side. Huh, I see. And then he leaves. He's leaving already? Don't tell me he came just to ask about some stupid blueprints. Is he really that cold of a person, or is that just how he comes off, I wonder? What about me, Soren? Ellen? He's back. Come home soon. I'm lost without you. Aw, he does care. Sorry. Later. Looks like showing your vulnerabilities is the fastest way to capture a woman's heart. Or lose it. You should take notes on this, Nick. Please leave me out of this. Anyway, it looks like Soren isn't big on words, but it's clear that he cares about Ellen. Knowing that, I actually feel kind of relieved. I love that she has tissues stuffed into her hairpiece so she can fix herself up. It's so good. Mr. Wright, I just absolutely can't be found guilty, you hear? Don't worry, I'm going to do everything I can to prove your innocence. Thank you, Mr. Wright. The trial's about to start, sir. Edgeworth. Knowing him, he's not going to yield an inch. So I just got to fight with everything I've got and save Ellen. We can do it. I got faith. Of the heart. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sorry. It's like the only thing I remember from Star Trek. Was that stupid opening song? Was that Aerosmith? I can't remember. It's been a while since we saw this judge. Court is now in session for the trial of Ellen White. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Seeing so many familiar faces gathered together like this feels like I'm in a grand reunion. Oh, it makes me want to go out for dinner and a drink, reminisce with all of you. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. I was dying for a real burger the whole time I was away. Well, you can make it a welcome back party for Maya. How about it, Edgeworth? I have no intention of cavorting with my enemies. Now then, Your Honor, let us start this trial at once. Ho, still not one for light-hearted banter, are you, Mr. Edgeworth? Jokes and good humor are beyond worthless in a court of law. Guess we'll just have to have the party without him, then. However, were it after the conclusion of this trial, I might consider joining you for your little welcome back party. I certainly wouldn't mind an invite at the very least. He's still as emotionally constipated as ever, I see. Oh, come on. That's just the way he is. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please go over the details of this case for us. The victim was Dumas Gloomsbury, a servant in the Sprocket household. He was in attendance at the wedding reception that occurred from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mr. Gloomsbury apparently felt some animosity towards Ellen Wyatt, and so, a bit after the reception ended at 10 p.m., he assaulted Miss Wyatt with the intent to kill her. The defendant fought back and ended up killing Mr. Gloomsbury. In other words, it was justified self-defense, correct? If that's the case, then the defendant might not be criminally responsible. He's right. Worst case scenario, I can go for self-defense to avoid the criminal charge. I wonder how Edgeworth plans to counter that, though. The prosecution's first witness will make my view on the matter clear, Your Honor. Very well. Bailiff, please bring in the first witness. I feel like I'm lost my judge voice a little bit. Whoa, those are some heels. And ankles. And, oh, it's Emma. Thought we might be getting like a new high society person, but it was just Emma. Please state your name and occupation, witness. Emma Skye, forensic investigator. And I'd just like to say, sir, that being in the same courtroom as you, it's a great honor. Oh, that's right. You're a fan of Edgeworth's, aren't you, Emma? We're good friends and all, Mr. Wright. But just this once, I intend to faithfully and fully testify for the prosecution. And I do mean that wholeheartedly. I expect no less from you. Yes, sir. I'm going to do my very best. Looks like you lost the popularity contest to Mr. Edgeworth, Nick. Nick really could care less. Besides, she'll see who's the better lawyer once I win this trial. Yeah, maybe then you actually really care less. Now, Detective Skye, if you please. I do like all these characters being together like this. It's very, heartwarming. The murder weapon was a clock called the Time Keeper. The victim was hit with it from behind, and he fell over, right into the lantern. Where's our, Wait, do we not have an autopsy report? We don't have an autopsy report. That's annoying. Hit from behind, huh? Why is his hand bloody, I wonder? The defendant was spotted then, standing in front of the body holding the murder weapon. The victim was struck twice, by the way. Twice, huh? Oh, that's gonna hurt the self-defense charge then. He was struck twice? That's right. There's no mistake about it. The first blow was to the back of the victim's head. It was hard enough to knock him unconscious. Yet despite the fact that he had been immobilized by the first blow, the defendant delivered a second fatal blow to the side of the victim's head. Which means what exactly? I figured it would go right over your head. Let's put it this way. By striking the victim a second time, the defendant killed her last chance to escape from any criminal wrongdoing. She did? But how, Mr. Edgeworth? The defendant may have been fighting back because she was being attacked. However, she then went on to deliver a fatal blow to a man who was already fully unconscious. Nick, is he saying what I think he is? I don't feel so well. And thus, Mr. Wright, has justified self-defense been removed from the table. The prosecution intends to prove that the defendant killed the victim with murderous intent. Allow me to belatedly submit the victim's autopsy report. Doing your autopsy report. Oh. So that's why he was acting all smug. Well, more smug than usual. It's fine, right? It's not like we were gonna plead self-defense anyway, right? Right, but now the judge has a negative impression of Ellen. He may not get to prosecute much anymore, but he definitely hasn't lost his touch. Or his edge, as you could say. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. All right, let's take a look at the autopsy report in detail. 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. September 20th. Cerebral hemorrhage from strong blow to the head. Contusion was found on the back of the head and on one on the side. Blows were caused by the same weapon. Okay. Where is our time machine anyway? Got the Gloomsbury thing. Side of the head apparently was hit, right? The note, the bloody hand. And the murder weapon. Though, didn't we say that the murder weapon wasn't actually bloody, though? Which is quite confusing. Alright, let's get depressing. We'll find something to continue on with.
Hold it!
Are you completely sure the murder weapon was the timekeeper? Yes, completely. The shape of the injury on the victim's head matches up with that of the timekeeper, and it's definitely heavy enough to kill someone with. But would the defendant have been able to pick up and swing something so heavy? I tried it myself, and I was able to lift it up just fine. Maybe you're just freakishly strong? Excuse me, Mr. Wright? I'll have you know that people on the force know me as the dainty forensic investigator. Sorry. Really, you're hardly a delicate flower. Mr. Wright, this is a court of law. Save your antics for after the trial, if you know how. Yes, sir. Won't happen again, sir. Moving on.
Hold it!
The defendant was fighting back against the victim, right? If so, wouldn't she have hit him from the front and not from behind? The victim must have tried to run once Miss Wyatt started fighting back. It's probably when we got hit from behind. The second one, though. I guess we don't know which one happened first. But the way that they played it out in the description was that the one on the side happened after, maybe? I don't know. I see. That's the blow to the back of his head. The defendant must have looked awfully scary when she was brandishing that clock. I don't know about that. Regardless of how scary Ellen looked, the victim was definitely hit from behind. May I go on? Yes, of course. Sorry, went Edwards there for a minute. Yes, of course. Please do. The defendant was spotted then, standing in front of the body, holding the murder weapon.
Hold it!
But that's only because she was so panicked when she found the body, that she tried to use the timekeeper to go back in time.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, do you have any idea how absurd you sound? But Miss Wyatt really believed she could travel through time with that clock. You really should have come up with a more credible story, you know. Yes, I agree. E3, but it's all I've got to go on. Anyway, under the circumstances, the only conclusion we can draw is that the defendant killed the victim. The victim was struck twice, by the way. Miss Wyatt must have had a chance to escape after she struck the victim the first time. So why would she stick around and hit him with such a heavy object again? Well, about that, allow me to explain. Why did she strike him again, indeed? To finish off the victim, of course. This very act clearly shows that she had every intention of killing Mr. Gloomsbury. But Miss Wyatt would never do such a thing like that. Then let's see some evidence that disproves my theory. You gonna just stand there and take that from him, Nick? Can't refuse claim head on, so I have to approach it from a different angle. Well, looks like we won't be going anywhere until we can refute Edgeworth's claim. So exciting. We haven't taken on a Mr. Edgeworth in ages. Yeah. Okay, Nick, now go get him. You don't need to rush me, Maya. Alright, better start by comparing Emma's testimony with the evidence we have for any glaring inconsistencies. Alright, that's it for the pressing. So we either say it wasn't the timekeeper that was the murder weapon, and he fell over right into the lantern. What's this? Well, wait a minute. I thought he was found inside of the lantern. How could he get in there? They don't really open up like that. She wouldn't be able to lift him in there either. Fell over right into the lantern. Finn was spotted then standing in front of the body holding the murder weapon. The victim was struck twice. Well, we can't argue with the twice thing. I kind of feel like this evidence says he was discovered inside one of the lanterns. And that he fell over into it is strange. That's the only thing that stands out to me right now. It doesn't really seem like much, though.
Objection!
So try it. Detective Sky, I'm afraid I have to apologize in advance. For what? For embarrassing you in front of your idol. What do you mean? If you take a look at this photo of the crime scene, you'll see that the victim is lying on his back. But if the victim had been hit from behind as you claim, then he should have fallen over into the lantern face down. It's not enough to simply take someone's side, Detective Sky, even if it's Mr. Edgeworth's. Oh. There does appear to be a flaw in Detective Sky's testimony. Mr. Wright, if you think I'm gonna just back right down, then you're sadly mistaken. Emma's unusually fired up today. Don't forget, she's in front of her hero, Nick. If the Steel Samurai came to watch this trial, I'd want to do my absolute best too. Listen, Mr. Wright, it's entirely possible that the defendant moved the victim's body after he fell over. In that case, there wouldn't be any contradiction, right? Indeed. That was an excellent counter-argument, Detective. You can count on me, sir. So, what do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright? Is it possible that the victim's body was moved after he fell into the lantern? No? No, because they found her right away, right? Do we have that statement somewhere? It's not though, because like they said they found her like that they saw her like right after she did it, right? Sorry, Detective, but there's no way the victim's body was moved after his death. Oh, really? And what makes you so sure? Hi, Devkin. One look at this here and it should become obvious. Oh, damn it. They're gonna make me point out something. What proves that the victim's body had not been moved? Well, we've got a piece of paper. We got a weird leaf. Other weird leaves. And a bloody hand. And a bunch of crap on him. I mean, the crap on him seems like probably related, as does the leaf. So, but, I mean, the wood, right, would be the thing that would prove it.
Take that!
Those broken bits of the lantern? Yes, if the body had been moved after the fact, these fragments would have fallen off of it. But as you clearly see, they're lying perfectly undisturbed on top of the body. This means that the victim must have been lying face up from before the lantern even broke. You're right. But wait a minute. If that's true, then when was the victim killed? I mean, the lantern was still whole during the reception, right? Right, which means we just overturned a major assumption about this case. If the victim was already dead before the lantern was even broken, then the body must have been inside the lantern since before the reception started. In other words, the defense asserts that the victim was killed before the wedding reception.
What?
short. When Miss Wyatt was seen standing in front of the body after the reception, it wasn't the moment just after the murder was committed. It was the moment she happened to discover the body, just as Miss Wyatt claims. Ugh.
Objection!
Whether the act was committed before or after the reception is entirely inconsequential. After all, it was the defendant who prepared the reception hall for the event in question. Therefore, when the murder occurred, changes nothing with regard to her guilt. She could have killed the victim before the reception, as you claim, and then tried to hide his body in the lantern after the event ended.
Objection!
Sorry, but that doesn't make any sense. I mean, where would the body have been hidden during the reception in your scenario? That's, even you have to admit, Mr. Edgeworth, that this has opened up a new possibility. Do explain, Mr. Wright. Well, if Miss Wyatt didn't commit the crime in the reception hall, that means someone, somewhere, put the victim's body into the lantern.
I suppose that makes sense. A dead body couldn't have put itself in there.
Exactly, Your Honor. In other words, if the murder actually occurred before the reception, we get 3 options? Well, it opens up the possibility that he was killed somewhere else. The defendant didn't do it, he was killed some other way. The defendant didn't commit this murder.
Objection!
But for heaven's sake, even if the murder was committed before the reception, that alone doesn't erase the suspicion against the defendant.
This was too ridiculous of a leap backwards from Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Wright. Just you look before you leave and think before you speak.
Oh, damn it. Guess I got ahead of myself on that one. Alright, give me back my penalty. Sorry, I want my penalty back. Okay. We can't jump ahead to saying she's totally clear. But I guess we could very easily jump to say he was killed somewhere else, right? If the body was hidden inside the lantern, then it's possible that the body was moved along with it from somewhere else. Oh, you're right! You can run that mouth of yours all you want. But do you have any evidence to support what's coming out of it, Mr. Wright? Of course I do. I think the answer lies in that piece of evidence. It's something that was left at the crime scene that will point us to where the victim was really killed. Okay, so we're talking about the plant, and probably the picture, right?
Very well, Mr. Wright. In that case, what proves that the lantern and the body were moved from somewhere else?
So we have this picture of the bowl and things potentially being moved around. But I think it's gotta be flour, right? The photo of the victim again? Yes. I'd like the court to focus on this thing right here.
Take that!
Flower petals, Mr. Wright? These petals are from a kind of flower that were not present in the reception hall. This means they must have gotten into the lantern when it was somewhere else. And just where do you propose this somewhere else to be, Mr. Wright? I propose that this piece of evidence would tell us where the flower petals came from. I want to say it's this one. Yeah.
Take that!
Please take a look at the flowers in this picture of the hole. Notice how their petals are the same shape as the petals in the crime scene photo?
Yes, I see. They do look to be from the same kind of
Objection!
flower.
Is that really all you've got? A flower is a flower is a flower. They're all the same. I would hardly call what you presented compelling evidence.
I'm afraid I couldn't disagree with you more, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave a flower of this type to my lovely wife once when we were young, so I can assure you that this is a very meaningful and compelling evidence indeed. The soundness of my judgment in this matter is backed by nothing less than pure love.
But your honor. Let it go, Mr. Edgeworth. Clearly you don't know much about flowers. It's not like you have anyone you'd actually give any to after all. Oh, God, Phoenix! Holy shit! Dude, Phoenix is going for the kill today. Holy crap. So, wooden flower recently like puzzle. Well, that's cool. Like one of those, like sliding block puzzle type things, or like the blocks that you like put together and have to like piece together and they don't fit correctly unless you do it just the right way. It's cool. Maybe you should study up on them, just in case the opportunity presents itself. Oh. Gosh, went right for the throat. This from the man who only knows the names of 3 types of flowers. That's hardly relevant to this case. The defense asserts that it's highly probable the victim was killed in the hold. If the body was then placed in the lantern and moved to the reception hall for some reason. It would completely destroy the prosecution's case. You mean the body was... Yes, the victim's body was inside the lantern during the entire beautiful wedding reception, while the defendant and her betrothed were celebrating their love.
What?
All that paints Ellen in a brighter light, considering he's still
Objection!
working on the assumption that she did it. Your smooth talk might work on his honor, but it won't work on me. What are you talking about now? Take another look at all the evidence and you'll soon see what I mean. I wish you would just tell me already. Detective Sky, I'm sure you've already figured out what I'm talking about, correct? Of course, sir. Mr. Wright is the only one here who hasn't. Why don't you leave this to me, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well. Let's see what you can do.
Detective Sky, please give your testimony to this court.
The victim could not have been killed before the reception. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. And that estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. It's clear Mr. Gloomsbury was killed after the reception, and that completely contradicts your claim. I guess so. Tell me you took at least a cursory glance at the autopsy report, Mr. Wright. It appears you've grown rusty since our last outing. Might I suggest you go back and brush up on the basics? Sure. Well, I must say you're as cocky as ever, Mr. Edgeworth. I beg your pardon? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? I'm just saying that I'll go back to basics if that's what Mr. Edgeworth wants. I'll prove how badly he's underestimated me with a good old-fashioned cross-examination.
Very well. Let's see you put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Wright.
I do really like Wright in the Apollo Justice trilogy, because he's way more confident in like what he's doing, even if he's bluffing and like talking out of his ass half the time. It's good. It's very nice. Victim could not have been killed before the reception.
Hold it!
That's probably the thing that might be wrong with me, but you sound pretty certain. Must have some solid grounds for making that claim, right? Of course I do. And you're gonna feel silly when I show you what they are. Ready? Feast your eyes on this. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. I've read the autopsy report too, you know. Then you don't need me to explain it to you, right? How there's no way the victim could have been killed before the reception, I mean. Detective Sky, I think you've overlooked something big. I have? Why don't you take another look at the evidence? But I've already looked at all the evidence. Quite carefully, too, I'll have you know. Detective Sky, do not be taken in by his verbal antics. He is simply bluffing, as always. Right, sir. And that estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. Is it possible that the culprit did something to obscure the real time of death? No, not in this case. There's no snow or anything to keep the body from decomposing. And there's no fridge on that airship big enough to fit a body into. Oh, we have a fog machine, though. So you've already checked into that, I see. It all comes down to the estimated time of death, doesn't it? Couldn't the killer mess with the victim's time of death by keeping the body on ice? Yeah, they had the means to. Prosecution is treating the estimated time of death as an absolute. But is it really? Take it you don't think it is, huh, Nick? In that case, we're gonna have to find a way to convince them otherwise. Yeah, there's gotta be a way somehow. Okay, I think it's the fog machine. Either the fog machine or the picture. Alright, it's definitely the last sentence, though, because them being like, yep, nope, definitely wrong is the trick here. So, we know that there's a fog machine that utilizes dry ice. But importantly, in this picture, the dry ice, like, being pushed goes right on top of the thing.
Objection!
It's not this. Okay, I think we have to give the fog machine then. Alright, hold on. I wasn't sure which one it was going to be, but since that one didn't work, more than likely...
Hold it!
Wait, what? Oh shit, did I just... Wait, oh, I just hit the press button by accident, sorry. I'm clicking buttons like crazy over here. By mistake.
Objection!
There we go. It is the fog machine, not the picture. I figured we might need the picture because it shows the fog machine blowing on it. But I admit that the estimated time of death does contradict my theory. Finally! And that means your theory that the victim was killed before the reception is still entirely plausible. Huh? What makes you think that? The killer could have falsified the time of death by using a certain item in the reception hall. Take a look at this.
And what is that contraption, Mr. Wright?
It's a fog machine, Your Honor, used to create a special romantic atmosphere in the hall.
And this machine could have been used to falsify the time of death?
Yes, Your Honor, because this machine uses dry ice to perform its magic.
Dry ice? Ah, yes, the super cold stuff commonly used to make theatrical fog, right? I see. So your claim is that this dry ice was used to keep the body cold?
Oh. In that case, I guess the victim could have been killed before the reception.
Order in the court. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this development?
That the victim was killed in the hold before the wedding reception. The prosecution acknowledges the possibility of this claim. Now we're getting somewhere. The prosecution would also like to thank you, Mr. Wright. Huh? For what? I didn't know how a certain piece of evidence fit into this case, but now, thanks to you, I do. What piece of evidence? To get into the hold, one needs a key card, like this one. And here we have a record of those who entered the hold with such key cards. The times aren't specified, but these are the last 3 entries on the day of the murder. And as you can see, the last person to enter the hold that day was the defendant. What?
So the one who moved the body out of the hold must have been...
That's right. It was none other than the defendant. That is a leap of logic by Edgeworth, if you ask me. If there's no timestamps on it, then you don't know. Hey, Nick, take a look at this entry record. There are a couple other names on here besides Ellen's. Hey, you're right. According to the entry record, Mr. Edgeworth, Pierce Nicody had also gone into the hold. Isn't it possible that he could have been the culprit?
Objection!
Sorry, but Mr. Nicody was escorting a few of the guests at the time. I'm sure they would be happy to testify to that fact if you'd like. Think me cocky all you like, Mr. Wright, but my confidence is rarely misplaced. Now then, it's probably safe to assume that after killing the victim in the hold, the defendant moved his body to the hold in order to dispose of it discreetly. What do you mean by discreetly? The defendant volunteered to take care of the reception's cleanup personally. That means she would have had the chance to dispose of anything in any way she wanted, including taking the lantern off the airship without raising any suspicions. Don't tell me you didn't know about Miss White volunteering for cleanup duty, Mr. Wright. My last task as a servant of the Sprocket household. I offered to take on the preparation and clean up the reception banquet. I see. Yeah. Look at you, sweating buckets like a rookie, even after all these years. Nevertheless, thank you for proving that the only person who could have killed the victim in the hole is Ellen Wyatt. Ugh! Great job, Phoenix. Now we're back to square one. Perhaps you should have asked Miss Sykes for some help in reviewing Defense for Dummies. Way to go, sir. Got Mr. Wright in a cold sweat. I wonder, maybe the promise of seeing that miserable look on his face is what brought me back to court today. It certainly made all my stress and woes as chief prosecutor just melt away. Guess he had a lot of stress about that. I'll give him something to stress over before we're through today. Your Honor, the prosecution asks that you render your verdict at this time, before that man over there tries to throw the court into chaos with his meaningless buffs. I mean, he's not wrong. Edgeworth knows us well.
I see, Mr. Wright. Are there any less meaningful bluffs you'd like to present to this court?
Why does he have to assume it'll be a bluff? Nick, hurry up and throw a good one out there. I will. Well, all right then. Let's see. I've got it. How do you know it was Miss Wyatt who used her key card? After all, if it turns out that somebody else used her card, it would mean Miss Wyatt didn't do it.
Interesting. Are you able to prove this bluff to be true?
I assure you I'm not bluffing, Your Honor. Now what? Wait a minute, Nick. I can think of a certain somebody who might have used Ellen's key card. You can? Remember? The one who was sneaking around the hole, despite not being a family member? Oh, that's right. Your Honor, the defense would like to call a certain witness to the stand. I need the testimony of this person, who may have entered the hold with Miss Wyatt's card.
Take that!
That's your witness? Are you saying that numbskull was on the airship? You never breathed a word about that to me? That's not surprising, because Mr. Nicoti told him to keep quiet about it. Mr. Butz himself admitted it to me. He claims to have found a way to sneak into the Flying Chapel's hold to see Miss Wyatt. This photo he took and gave to me is proof. Then it was he who moved the lantern with the body inside to the reception hall? Oh, sorry. Then was it he who moved the lantern with the body inside of the reception hall? You know as well as I that with him, anything is possible. And this is one possibility we should definitely look into. I can't believe this. What in the world is he doing mixed up in this? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Remember what we've been saying since elementary school? When something smells, it's usually the butts. Exactly. Oh, that Larry! He'll pay for this. Well, if you want to extract your payment now, he's right up there in that gallery. Yeet!
Bailiff, seize the witness before he makes a run for it.
No! Why does this stuff always happen to me? Sorry, Larry, but you brought this on yourself.
Let's break for a 15-minute recess. Ask that both sides prepare for the next witness testimony during this time.
So silly. Wow, it's been a while since I've had this much fun and excitement. A face-off against Mr. Edgeworth? A harrowing tightrope for the defense? Yeah, exhausted already. Boss! I'm here for more support. Athena, you're done practicing for Juicy's magic show? Well, to be perfectly honest, I sort of ran away. But that's because she was putting my life in danger, I tell ya. I see. You don't need to have a one-on-one with her later. You're really athletic and fit, Athena, so Trucy probably thinks you can run you ragged. That may be true, which is why not even Trucy can keep up with me when I run at full speed. Ha! Looks like you spoke too soon, Athena. Never underestimate the resourcefulness of a great magician. Huh? Magical girl Trucy Wright is on the scene. No. Now, Athena, time to practice human combustion magic. Go on, douse yourself in this gasoline. But don't worry, it's a magic trick after all, so it's perfectly safe. Run away! Hey, you're not getting off that easily. So this is how they're preventing us from using Athena's power, huh? They get along so well, don't they? It reminds me of the good old days. You, me, and Pearlie. Oh, and Detective Gumshoe. Can't forget him. We had all kinds of fun at the crime scenes back then, remember? You didn't need to do all the serious investigating, as I recall.
We'll be back in session, Mr. Wright.
Right, thank you. So Larry's the next witness, right? Well, I can't wait to see what happens. Sadly, I can already imagine it.
Court will now reconvene.
You. Nick, Edgy, the two of you are gonna hang me out to dry, aren't you? No, not the both of us. Just Mr. Wright. Yeah, how could you? I don't really think he did it, of course. But I will use whatever leads I can. Mr. Butz, there's a possibility you moved the lantern that had the dead body in it. So if you want to clear yourself on any suspicion, all you have to do is testify.
Now then, your testimony, please, witness.
Nick is a jerk face. Nick, you big, fat, stinking jerk. How can you doubt your best bud? We've known each other since elementary school. Well, get this, pal. Our friendship's over. Wait, that's your testimony? Everyone's smelling the butts right now.
Well, go ahead, Mr. Wright. He's all yours.
Why me? You're the one who called him to the stand, so he's your responsibility. Thanks, old chum. Can't any of you show me a little respect? Even just a shred?
You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Wright.
I would, if there were any testimony to cross-examine. Really, we're gonna entertain this?
Hold it!
Come on, Larry. Can you please give me something real to work with? Don't think I know about your tricks. If I say something careless, you're gonna shove some evidence on me with a loud objection and a super smug look on your face. Yeah, well, that is my job. If I get found guilty, how are you gonna take responsibility for what you've done? Why should I take responsibility for just doing my job? You heartless jerk. Don't you have any compassion for me? How can you doubt your best bud? Known each other since elementary school. I'm sorry, Mr. Butz, but if it wasn't Miss Wyatt that entered the hold with that card, then you're the most likely suspect. Nick, are you seriously doubting the innocence of your old childhood friend? Well, technically, yes. But it isn't personal, I assure you. No, true friend will believe in me no matter what. Can't you see my tears? Don't they mean anything to you? Nick? Nick? You don't really think you can cry your way out of this, do you? Okay, fine. In that case, our friendship is over. Larry, listen to me. Shut up! I'm not talking to you anymore. It's leading us nowhere. Come off it, Larry. If you don't quit fooling around and start testifying, Miss Wyatt will be found guilty. For real?
If no new information comes out of this cross-examination, then yes, Mr. Butz, for real.
Not that I would have a problem with that myself. Larry, just tell us the truth already. Did you or didn't you go into the hole to move a lantern up to the reception hall? I never moved any bull lantern, I tell you. Bull lantern? What? Did I say something weird? You told me that you didn't attend the wedding reception. Yeah, so what? Then that's odd. No one in this courtroom ever mentioned the sex of the lantern that was moved. So how can you know that it was a bull lantern? You actually have to go to the reception hall to know that. Anyone can tell there were 2 pegables by looking at the Flying Chapel's pamphlet. All I can tell right now is that there's a strong sense of bull in the air in here. Please add that last statement to your testimony, Mr. Butz. Yeah, the fact that he says 2 is also questionable.
Hold it!
Seriously, Larry, if you're hiding something, you'd better fess up now. I'm telling you, I don't know nothing. Why do you have to doubt me so much? Why? Because you're you, that's why. Yeah, gee, you think Nick's being awful to me, don't you? So you tell him. Tell Nick what a big meaty he is. I would, if I thought he was being one. You too? Why doesn't anybody ever take my side? Wish I didn't have to doubt him. But something about what he just said doesn't add up. Finally got a decent statement out of him, huh, Nick? Yeah, finally. Sure took a lot of work, though. Hope all this leads somewhere. Alright, we need a picture where there's not 2 of those.
Objection!
Wait, fuck. Really? Oh, you have to show the reception picture. Alright, fine. I thought we were going to disprove it by showing the cow, but... Alright, fine. This one then, right? Maybe. Either that or... Peg a cow, peg a bull.
Objection!
Yeah, that's wrong. I want you to take a look at this, Mr. Butz. Because unfortunately for you, the pamphlet clearly shows a peg a cow and a peg a bull in their example diagram of the reception hall. Huh? But on that day, instead of putting a peg a cow and peg a bull out for the bride and groom, there were 2 male pegables on display. Yet, somehow, you knew there were 2 pegables in the reception hall that day. There's only one way you'd know something like that, Larry. It was you who moved the pegaball to the reception hall, wasn't it? No. Larry, you didn't.
Mr. Butz, did you move the lantern containing the victim's body to the reception hall?
That's what it looks like. What? Wait, Nick. You don't think I'm the murderer, do you? You and Mr. Bloomsbury were fighting on Miss Wyatt, and you ended up killing them? You two. Look, I did sneak into the reception, but that's as far as it went. You know me. I wouldn't hurt a fly. You snuck into the reception? Yeah, sure. But some of the sprocket men kind of locked me up in one of the cabins. It was pretty awful, But that's when I made that drawing of the pterodactyl I showed you, Nick. Ixnay of the Aerodactyl Bay, Larry.
Mr. Wright, not even you would take this fuss that far, would you?
We are talking about Larry. What do I do? Do I accuse Larry of being the true culprit? No. We shouldn't, right? But he did move it. If we say he's not the culprit, and that he just moved it, that doesn't remove suspicion from Ellen. So do we have to accuse him of being the murderer? Oh gosh, I don't know. No, you're right, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Butz didn't have a reason to kill Mr. Gloomsbury. He might have had an imaginary reason to kill Soren Sprocket, sure, but not Mr. Gloomsbury. After all, he did steal Mr. Sprocket's bride and tried to elope with him. Just because I tried to steal somebody's bride doesn't make me a murderer. I believe you, Larry. I don't think you killed anybody either. You would never do anything like that. Nick, oh buddy, old pal. You come through for me? Funny that, considering your sworn testimony just now that we were through.
Mr. Butz, it's time you told this court the whole truth. Understand?
It's just like Nick said. I'm the one who moved the lantern. To the hold. I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw a lantern was broken. There was a note on it that said, "Exchange with the one in the hold, Ellen." So I decided to do Ellie a favor.
So you switched the lanterns before the reception, did you? Then that means the victim really was killed before the reception.
Ah, okay. Sure. We have a picture of Ellen with the cow, though, right? Which... So this is in the hold with the cow and the bull. Before everything's moved, I guess. Does this paint? We'll see.
Then that means the victim really was killed before the reception.
It would appear that Mr. Butz completely fell for the defendant's scheme. Scheme? What scheme? This note from the defendant, exchanged with the one in the hold, Ellen. Mr. Butz moved the lantern with the body in it up to the reception hall because of this note. And thus he has become a suspect in Mr. Gloomsbury's murder. That second lantern did feel pretty heavy, but I never would have thought there was a dead body in it. What was a note like that doing on a lantern in the first place? You got it all wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. I left that note for myself. It was simply a reminder because I can be very forgetful.
Objection!
What a sorry excuse, Miss Wright. The prosecution contends that this note shows one facet of the defendant's murderous plan. And you, Mr. Butz, you played right into Miss White's hands. No way, Edgy. I don't believe it. Do you still really believe Miss White to be the culprit, Mr. Edgeworth? Of course. My stance on the matter remains unchanged. If you think I'm wrong, then prove it with your cross-examination. Gladly.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
What Larry got up to. Just like Nick said, the one who moved the link.
Hold it!
Why didn't you tell us that sooner? Because I knew you guys were going to be suspicious of me, that's why. We're suspicious of you now because you tried to hide it. My faults exactly. Well, now I've told you. Happy? So, but let me go! No, not yet. We need you to stick around to sort a few things out. Fine. I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw a lantern broken. The lantern you swapped out was a female pegamoo. A pegacow, right? Yeah, I guess. Why did you replace a female lantern with a male one? Because I was too busy trying not to get caught. I didn't have time to check for little details like that. If you didn't want to get caught, you could have just left well enough alone, you know? Oh, whatever. Anyway, when I took a look at the broken lantern, I saw there was a note on it that said exchange with the one in the hold.
Hold it!
That note wasn't addressed to you, was it? Well, I guess not. But how could I let my dear sweet Ellie do all that hard physical labor on her own? Precisely that thought process that constantly got you in trouble, Larry. Besides, it was my big chance to show her how much I cared about her. So I decided to
Hold it!
Nobody saw you the whole time while you were switching the lanterns? Nope, I didn't get caught. Not that time, anyway. Not that time? Yeah, when I tried to sneak into the reception hall the first time, I didn't have as much luck. Those sprocket guys spotted me and nabbed me. All my words are failing me right now. Pretty exciting, don't you think? Harry, you need help. And then they locked me up in one of the cabins. Nick, what are you asking about stuff like this for anyway? Wait, how did you get out then? Shouldn't you be trying to prove Ellie's innocence? Well, is that same as an important case? Yeah. Mr. Butz trying to crash the reception and subsequently getting locked up in the cabin. I believe these might be important facts in this case, Your Honor.
Very well, Mr. Butz. Add that statement to your testimony.
If he got locked up in a cabin, how did he get out to move the bull after?
Hold it!
So you got locked up. Then what happened? I broke out. And then I started looking for Ellie and wandered into the reception hall again. That's when I saw the broken lantern and replaced it. Even after they caught you and locked you up, you still went looking for Miss Wyatt? But hold on a minute. What is it, Nick? Maya, doesn't something seem weird to you? Larry is saying you replaced the lantern after he broke out of the cabin. That's right. Wait. Huh? You're right. It doesn't make much sense, does it?
Mr. Wright, you found an inconsistency in the witness's statement.
Yes, I believe so, Your Honor. Mr. Butz moved the lantern after he broke out of the cabin. But that contradicts with this. Hold on. Before the reception began, the note. Shows pterodactyl. Moved the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with what? I mean, did he break out before or after the reception actually happened? It had to have been before the reception. She's okay. So like she's in there with the broken Pegamoo before the reception, right? I think that's the problem potentially, that it wasn't broken beforehand.
Take that!
Maybe.
In what sense does that piece of evidence contradict with the statement?
It doesn't contradict it at all, does it? Indeed. It's on my knee, Your Honor. Looks like I just made a tiny mistake. That's all. Wait, what? Yeah, hold on. Reload that, please. I'm not really sure. Contradicts with what? Larry wheeled it from the hold to the reception hall before the reception began. Actually, don't know. He replaced the lantern after he broke out of the cabin. I guess there should have been 2 entry records then, right?
Take that!
For her key card if you like borrowed it or something? No. Damn it. Okay, we're playing the guess the evidence game now because I'm not really following what they mean. Would it somehow contradict with this? The pedals got into there somehow, or would have from the hold to the reception hall before the reception began? No, that wouldn't be wrong, right? Would it somehow contradict with this? No. I'm really not following. So it's not that. It's not this. It doesn't contradict with this, right? I really don't know.
Take that!
I have a photo victim, right? This is not it. No, this isn't either. There's some. I'm not really seeing anything in the actual evidence descriptions. Is there something that I'm forgetting about the evidence? Maybe. I'm seeing a pterodactyl at nighttime. Maybe.
Take that!
It's not this, right? No. They didn't penalize me, did they? Weird. It's weird that they don't give me a penalty either, though. I tried to sneak in. Got locked up that call.
Hold it!
He shouldn't have been able to get into the hold, right? Right? Like, that's the issue. He shouldn't be able to get into the hold because key cards, right? But we already tried presenting the key card record. So that doesn't work. We don't have the key card itself. Was the timekeeper thing, like, already placed somewhere else? I mean, would it have to do with the flower? I already presented this though, didn't I?
Take that!
No. Alright, we're gonna brute force this. I really don't know. So it's not the entry record hold. It's not that. Not this.
Take that!
Not Larry's drawing. Nope. It's not Larry's drawing. What's going to be the connection point here? And it's
Take
not
that!
this, right? No, like showing that the bull was in the reception isn't an inconsistency at all. And it's not the fog machine. It can't be the fog machine, right?
Take that!
Yeah, no. That's what I thought. Because, like, we need the fog machine to keep the body cold in order for everything to make sense, so that's not it.
Take that!
It's not this, right? Nope. Is this really just a dead end? Murder weapon. I mean,
Take that!
can't be this. No. Are we, is it really just nothing? And that's why there's no penalty? Like, is this a weird thing we have to be wrong to go and, like, press and get a different answer or something maybe?
Take that!
It's not her statement about a suspicious third party. No one knows about that. I feel like we don't actually have anything. After he broke out of the cabin. What haven't I tried?
Take that!
Like Bloomsbury's note. Because why would that matter?
Take that!
Is it this? Okay, it's this, apparently. Which I don't really understand. So let's find out together what the weird logic is that we're missing here.
Is that?
Yes, it's the broken lantern, Your Honor. Mr. Butz, what you're saying doesn't make any sense at all. What? Why not? You swapped the lanterns before the reception began, right? Yeah, that's what I said, isn't it? You also just said that you swapped the lanterns after you got locked up in a cabin for trying to sneak into the reception. Oh, I see. In other words, you're saying you swapped the lanterns both before the reception and after the reception took place.
That certainly doesn't make any sense, does it? Mr. Butz, did you swap the lantern before or after the reception?
Which was it? Before or after? There's a world of difference between the two. Well, Mr. Butz, I guess I can't expect guys like you to understand. In a nutshell, it was both before and after the reception. What? I tried to sneak into the first reception and got locked up. The first reception? Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going. Then, through the power of Ellie's pendant, time got rewound and we went back to the time before the reception. It was after that when I replaced the lantern. So it was both before the reception and after the reception. Get it? We went back in time to before the reception. So, of course, the reception would take place one more time after that, right? That's why what I said makes perfect sense. Mr. Wright, what in the world is the witness talking about? Has he developed some sort of intellectual ailment I'm not aware of since I saw him last? Well, none of the sprockets seem to remember the time skip, but I do. And Ellie remembers it too. I think the power of our love for each other made that miracle happen.
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but could you please translate this man's gibberish so the rest of us can understand?
So I had to be the one to explain the whole time travel thing. Go on, Nick. I know you can do it. Looks like you don't have much choice, Nick. To heck with it. Can't lose any more of my duty today anyway. The defendant, Miss Ellen Wyatt, has told the defense the following strange story. She said that after the reception ended, she was attacked by Mr. Gloomsbury. She claims that as she was being assaulted, she made a wish upon her pendant. Please take me back to that blissful moment. In doing so, time apparently rewound itself to just before the reception began. It what? I know it's hard to believe, but think about it this way. Through the power of the pendant, both Ellen Wyatt and Larry Butz experienced time travel.
What?
Objection!
What absolute rubbish. Mr. Wright, I've heard my fair share of your nonsense over the years, but this takes the cake. Have you thoroughly lost your mind?
Objection!
This is simply the conclusion I came to, using that logic ability you love so much. What? The truth of the matter is, the future president of Sprocket Aviation, Soren Sprocket, has been researching time machines. So, what if a time machine has already been successfully created? And what if that's one of Sprocket's Aviation's top secret inventions?
A time machine?
Yeah, I even saw something while we were time traveling. I saw a pterodactyl flying through the sky. Maybe the airship was set to travel through time for their honeymoon trip.
What? A pterodactyl?
Objection!
You can't possibly have any evidence to back up your ridiculous time travel story. Well, as I thought. In any case, I now have the evidence to prove that you're no more intelligent than Larry. Not so fast now, Edgy. I'm not the same old Larry you used to know. Oh? You want evidence? I've got your evidence right here. This is a photo I secretly took of the first reception.
What?
What? Nice job, Larry. Larry, I can't believe you. Anyway, good job. If we compare the photos of the first and the second reception, we can find a difference. I have a feeling I know what's going on. And we'll be able to prove that the reception was held twice.
Do you really think such a difference exists?
Yes, Your Honor. I just need some time to find it for you. This is preposterous.
Very well. Please show the court what's different then.
The bulls and the moose. So, okay, you want to hear my theory? My theory, time travel, not real. But they did hold 2 receptions. And I think that's why the Sprocket family is like so tight-lipped and like nervous about shit, and why Pierce like told Larry not to say anything. Is because this angle is a little weird, but okay. But they had the reception twice, and in the first one they like murdered the dude, and then in the second one they pretended that didn't happen at all. All right, this is proof positive the wedding reception was held twice. Okay, let's see. We've got red flowers. Here, let's play this game. Oh, well, that was easy. It's the flowers. It's the flowers, yellow and red.
Take that!
Direct your attention to Miss Wyatt's bouquet of flowers. In the photo one of her in-laws took, the defendant is holding a yellow bouquet. But in the photo Mr. Butz took, she's holding a red one. You're right.
That's impossible. What does this mean?
It means the defendant really did experience 2 wedding receptions, and she did that when she traveled back through time.
Whoa. What?
Okay, we're reaching with the time travel bit, but yes, 2 receptions. Nick, you did it. You proved Ellen's time travel story to be true. Yeah, I can hardly believe it myself. Just as Ellen said, the reception was held twice. This turns every assumption we've based this trial on upside.
Objection!
I refuse to accept such a ludicrous argument. It is pure fiction under the guise of pseudoscience at best. There's simply no such thing as time travel. I know it's hard, but can't you suspend your disbelief for 1 nanosecond, Edgeworth? I bet sci-fi movies push all your buttons the wrong way, don't they, Mr. Edgeworth? I can totally picture you yelling, "That'd never happen," every 5 seconds of the screen. Maybe you should stay away from movie dates altogether. That's neither here nor there. This is real life we're talking about.
But the proof is clearly shown in the 2 photographs.
That's right, Mr. Edgeworth.
Objection!
No matter how inexplicable... Fine. I'll entertain your absurd delusion, if only to demolish it before your very eyes. What? Let's start with this then, shall we? There's one thing your time travel theory fails to explain. And that is the memories of the other guests there. The defendant and Larry remember the reception occurring twice, but no member of the Sprocket family has even mentioned such a thing. That's because the time machine is classified. I'm not done, you bird brain. Bird brain? As I was saying, if the entire family had been sworn to secrecy, then why hadn't they sworn the woman who was marrying into the family to secrecy too? That's a good point. Honestly, all it takes is a little common sense, Mr. Wright.
Even still, how do we know that the trip through time did not really occur? There is proof in the photos that it did. Besides, if time travel doesn't exist, well, I'd be a little disappointed, frankly. I was hoping to go back to the days of my youth.
You mustn't allow yourself to be taken in by Mr. Wright's whimsical tales, Your Honor. I've read about it in various literature, you see. And they all say that time travel is just not logically feasible. Maybe our argument was just a little too nonsensical, Nick. Well, in that case, why don't we put common sense to the test? Excuse me? The wedding reception was held twice. The photos are proof of that. But it wasn't because of time travel. It's simply because the reception had actually been held twice. Isn't that the most reasonable way to interpret the situation?
Would you care to elaborate, Mr. Wright?
If time travel doesn't exist, then there's only one way to make sense of what happened. The Sprocket got me lying. Somebody must have orchestrated this strange phenomena, and that somebody, the gods, everyone at the reception in Bloomsbury. What if all excuse me, what if all the guests at the reception conspired together to hold the reception twice and keep quiet about it?
What?
And for what purpose would they conspire to do such a thing? To prevent What's-Her-Face from marrying into the family. Well, a brilliant deduction, defense. Is it? Yes, it's him. I can tell that you're not a renowned lawyer for nothing. I must say I underestimated you. How so, Mr. Nicoti? You have managed to name each event precisely as they happened. You've revealed it all to the light of day. Then that means it was us. We orchestrated the whole thing. Yes, the reception was held twice. But not because of time travel. No, we simply held it a second time.
What? What? Why? Why would you do such a thing?
To make it as though the murder Miss Ellen committed never happened. Master Soren figured that if Miss Ellen, who'd killed Bloomsbury after the first reception, experienced the reception one more time, she would think it was all a dream. It was he who ordered us to make it happen. However, only a few, myself included, knew of Miss Ellen's crime.
You're saying most of the guests attended 2 receptions without knowing why?
Indeed. They needed no reason. Master Soren told them to do it, and do it they did. That is the Sprocket way. Then who hid the body in the lantern? We did. But we did not anticipate the petals finding their way in, nor the action of Mr. Butz. And that's how you intended to cover the whole situation up. There's just one thing everyone here has wrong. The real scene of the murder was not the Horde, it was the Vista deck. What? And Miss Y's recollection of the events must be correct. I admit we tried to cover this incident up, but the fact that Miss Ellen killed Bloomsbury is undeniable.
This is quite a turn of events.
Yeah, that's not perjury, but that's tampering with evidence at the very least, isn't it? And so it appears we have arrived at the truth at last. Now. Please, do feel free to travel back in time, Mr. Wright, and attempt to do this trial over again. Go on. Let's not get hasty, Edgeworth. I bet you can't do it. I bet I can't either. Your Honor, we will have to hold a separate trial for the cover-up conspiracy later. But as far as this case goes, I believe you are ready for your ruling.
Objection!
Just before the defendant lost consciousness during her attack, she says she saw someone strike the victim. It's possible that this third party is the true culprit. You still want us to believe the defendant's words? Perhaps you lost more than your touch during your time abroad. This third person nonsense is nothing but rubbish, and you know it.
Objection!
But by the same token, how can we trust those who conspired and lied to this fool? Who conspired and lied to fool this court of law? For all we know, they might still be hiding something. You never know when to quit, do you?
Now, calm down, both of you. In any case, there isn't enough trustworthy information yet for me to render a verdict. I suggest we continue the trial after both sides have investigated the matter further.
Very well, Your Honor. Phew, that was close.
Mr. Nicoti, as for you and your cohort's attempt to cover up this crime, your case will be brought to a separate trial following the resolution of this current one.
Understood, Your Honor.
Well then, this concludes today's trial. Court is adjourned.
To be continued. Hey, I was right. 2 trials, no time travel. Also, I don't think Master Soren ordered the reception be done twice. Probably Nicody did. Let's be real. And he's potentially... I could see it being either Nicody is the killer or Soren's the killer. And he like defended Ellie from the attack. And Pierce put Gloomsbury up to the attack because he was the one who wrote the note. Maybe. But then they want to cover it up because they don't want Soren to be like a criminal, right? So that would give motive to all the different things. Except, oh no, well, we still have a motive for Pierce telling Gloomsbury to throw Ellen off the Vista deck has a motive of they don't want her in the family because she's a commoner, right? So all the motives line up like that, I think. But we will investigate and find out more next time. For now, though, I'm going to take a quick break, go to the bathroom, that kind of thing. And then we will go and play some Metroid Prime.